Hey everyone, Linda here, coming back at you with another video today. Welcome back to AdoreR. Hope everyone's having a good day today. Coming to you with my part 2 of my August-September wrap-up. I'm just going to dive right in because I got a lot of books that I want to get through. I don't want to have to do a part 3 to this. So I'm just going to try to give a small synopsis. We'll see how that's going to go. And to get through these books. So first up I have is Money Man. This is a 3-book series, so I'm letting you know now. It's a 3-book series, and they're all on the same couple. The couple is going to be Kaylin and Bailey. Kaylin is Scottish. He's in America working at his dad's farm. His dad met his mom over in Scotland. I think his dad went to school over in Scotland or something. But he went back to America and he married his mom. Marries Kaylin's mom, and they come back to America, but they didn't stay together, so they're divorced now. So when they got a divorce, Kaylin went back to Scotland with his mom. So he's been living in Scotland for a while, but now he's in America working for his dad, and him and his dad don't get along too good. But when the books start, him and Bailey are in a bathroom making out. And you were like, what is going on? So him and her are making out in the bathroom. So they meet at a Christmas party. You don't see when they first meet. You just know that they're in the bathroom making out. And it's going to go from there. I'm not going to tell you anymore. This story is... I think she just could have did one book on the story. She look, it went to 3 books because in the first book it's about them getting together and them finding out about each other. Because Bailey, she I don't want to say she was Amish, but she come from a community like the Amish because they don't have any TVs, they don't have any cars there. You know, it's very simplistic. But she knew that she wanted to leave, so she left and went to college. And now she been living, I said she been living in the real world with all these TVs and cars and all this stuff. But so that's the kind of community she came from. And in the second book, it's going to be about, because her and Kaylin going to have a falling out, and she's going to leave. I forgot what city. Are they in San Francisco? I don't know what city they're in. But she's going to leave and go back to her community because she need to get away because she's going to get laid off her job. It's going to have something to do with Kaylin. Yeah. And she's going to get laid off her job for a little while because they're going to have to investigate something. So she decides to go back to visit her family at their commune, and that's most of what the second book going to be about. And also her first love going to show up in the second book. And the second book is called Queen of Men, and the third book is going to be Kingmaker, because in the first book she going to be getting some threatening emails and stuff like that. So the third book is going to be how they're going to solve who is just sending her these threatening emails. So you got 3 books here. And I gave Money Man, I gave it 4 stars. I really, really enjoyed it. I would purchase it, but I didn't, the other 2 books, the Queen of Men, I gave 3.5 stars. And I gave Kingmaker 3.5 stars. And I'll show you those books because they're in here too. So let me show you the books. Let's see here. Where are they? Let me find them. I call myself starting at the bottom because those are the books that I read in August. So that's Kingmaker here. This is the 3rd book. Now you see this cover? This cover don't even go with the other cover. And I did not imagine him being this young of a guy. And this right here just do not remind me of Bailey. Bailey. I cannot see these 2 people being Kaylin and Bailey. It just did not match to me. And let me see, can I find, this is the second book. And Bailey have red hair. The female on that cover did not have any red hair. Now, I can see this cover being Kaylin and Bailey. Now I can see this cover being, now this is the second book in the series. These covers, they messed it all up with these covers, and that threw me off too. I was like, no. So this is the second book, Queen of Men, and this female right here, she matches Kaylin because she got red hair. But when you go back to the second book the third book in the series, I was like, what are y'all doing? Look, I'm wasting time right now going through this right here, but I just have to look. She don't even have red hair, people. Really? Oh my goodness. They messed this all up. Look, like after they did the first book, they were like, we just gonna slap some covers on here. It doesn't even match this. This is the series right here. It doesn't even match. I mean, the covers don't even match. I was just thrown all off. But I did enjoy the first book, Money Man. I gave it 4 stars. The other 2 books, I gave 3.5 stars. Right. The next book I have is The King's Pen Weakness by Jessica Kane. This book right here goes with the Fighter's Prize. I think I mentioned that in the last video that I did, that she had the female in the Fighter's Prize had a sister, and this is going to be her sister because both of them was at the fight. The Fighter's Prize was on a Russian fighter, and he fell in love with her sister because her sister came to him wanting him to beat the guy up in the ring so that she wouldn't have, because her dad was in trouble with the other guy, the other MMA fighter, and her dad had promised the guy that if he won or whatever, she would marry him or something like that. So her and her sister are at the fight, and then this one, this is like a mafia romance because the guy who owned the fighting ring, he was upstairs and he saw her sister, insta love, insta lust, and he just sent his bodyguards down there to get her and just pull her upstairs because she don't even know what they want, and they just telling her that she got to come with them. I'm not too much on mafia romances. I started reading this, it got DNF. I didn't even finish it. But if you want to try it out, it's The King's Pen Weakness, and it's a mafia romance because it called The King's Pen Weakness because he think he can't fall in love because, you know, he got so many enemies, and she might be his weakness or something like that. I didn't make it. I DNF'd it, and you know I don't DNF too many books, but I guess I was already against it because it was a mafia romance. For some reason, I'm not into mafia romances. I don't know, but yeah, I didn't finish it. But that's The Kingpin Weakness by Jessica Kane, and the other book that go with this is The Fighter's Prize by Jessica Kane. Next, here's where I fell down. I went down the rabbit hole on this one, people, because I started reading T.L. Swan. I found her on Kindle Unlimited. So this is not the first book I read by her, but once I read that first book, I think I read Mr. What was that called? Mr. Spencer. That's the first book I read by her, but I'll go over that later. But once I read that book, I read most of all her books. So I'm going to go with this one right here. This is Mr. Masters by T.L. Swan. Have any of you read anything by T.L. Swan? She have alpha male characters, hot and steaminess, over the top hot and steaminess sometimes, over the top, and she writes a lot of dialogue. I think I mentioned on here, I like writers that write dialogue, and mostly dialogue through the whole book. It make the book go quicker to me, and her characters have good dialogue. She's an excellent dialogue writer. She can write some interaction between her characters. It'll be funny. I don't want to say she write romantic comedies, but some of the stuff she done wrote here had me cracking up in her books. I don't know if it was in this one, but I know in most of her books it'll be something in there that have you cracking up. I'm not gonna say they romantic comedies, but she's a good writer, and she just keep you interested. I didn't DNF none of her books. I didn't put any of her book down. If I started it, I finished it almost the same day. All of her books, even though I like some better than others. So on this one, this is about, what is his name? Julian Masters and Bree. This is a older man, younger woman, because his wife has passed away. So he's looking for a nanny. So and also her books, T.L. Swan books, they're like international books. They either set in England, or most of them are set in England or Australia. And I think T.L. Swan is Australian. It's either set in Australia or England. Sometimes they're in America. I like her book because they just be all over the place. She don't discriminate. It don't be one setting for her. They can be in the United States. They can be overseas. Yeah, I like that about her books. So Julian hires Bree to come over. She's on a work visa to come over and work in England. He has 2 kids. He has a boy and a girl. And she come because he didn't think she was going to be young till he picked her up at the airport. And then he realized, oh my goodness, this is a young woman and he's attracted to her. So it's going to be about them two trying to figure out how can they be together. Because at first, he's fighting it. And then they have, they get into it a lot too. About, because I was like, oh my goodness, y'all into it again. And then since he didn't want to, have no, be doing anything at his house while his kids were there, he would like text her and tell her to meet him someplace. At a hotel someplace where he got it, where he done rented a room. So yeah, go from there. But I liked it. I gave it a high 3.5 stars. It was just some things in there. Yeah, I liked it though. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I finished it. I liked it. I was on the fence about, do I want to buy it? I don't know. I'm still thinking about that. Do I want to get Mr. Masters? I don't know. It was just something missing. But I give it a high. It was almost a 4-star for me. I like this cover. Maybe I'll just give it a 4-star for this cover too. Because look at that cover. So I'm going to say I gave this a 4-star. Because of the cover. Next I read by T.L. Swan, Dr. Stanton. I gave this 3.5 stars. This was a low 3.5 stars. This one, I liked it, but who was this one about? Let me see here. Dr. Stanton. This was on Cameron Stanton and Ashley. Now, Cameron did something in here that kind of, threw me off. So that's why I say I give it 3.5 stars. Him and Ashley meet at I think they're in Las Vegas or somewhere. And she's getting hit on by this guy. So she see Cameron walking by. So she grabs his arm like he's her husband, ask where you been or whatever. And I try to play it off like he's her husband. And then they start talking from there. And they realize that, they kind of like each other. They start flirting. And then, they end up spending the night together. And then the next morning, Cameron really likes her. So he get her telephone number. And because I think both of them live in different parts of the states. And he gets her number and tell her that he's going to call her. And he said he's going to come. I forgot where did she stay in New York? I forgot. But he said he was going to come visit her because he really liked her. But then he lose her number. So I don't know if it's a year, maybe a year or 2 years that they end up in the same city. And here's where I don't like books where they end up working together at the same place. What's the odds of you meeting somebody and both of y'all end up working at the same place? Because it turns out, like it said right here, he's a doctor, and it turns out that she's a nurse. So she's gonna move to, I forgot where she moved to, and she's gonna get a job at the hospital, and it's gonna be the hospital that he work at. Yeah. And they're gonna go because they're gonna have some contention and something happened in here. I'm not gonna go over it, but this was one of my least favorite of her books, but it was good. I give it 3.5 stars. I'm not going to say it was a high 3.5 stars. I'm just going to say it was 3.5 stars. But I think you enjoy her writing because she got a fast-paced writing style. And like I said, it's a lot of dialogue and her characters have good interaction between each other. So I gave that 3.5 stars. Next, I have The Italian by T.L. Swan. And this is on, let me see. This is on Olivia Reynolds, and his name is Enrico. And this is set in Italy. Olivia is on vacation in Italy, and she's there by herself, and she's in this cafe sitting down, getting ready to eat or whatever. And her and Enrico have eye contact. And then he makes his way over to the table. They introduce themselves. And yeah, both of them are attracted to each other. They end up spending the night together. Well, just going out, hanging out, but they don't, they don't sleep together on the first night because he dropped her off at her hotel and he asked her, can he take her out the next day? And then they go out the next day, and then that's when they sleep together, and they really like each other, but she's not staying. She's going to meet her friend at another location. So she have to leave, but she tell him she's going to come back to Italy before she get ready to go. And she's from Australia. Before she get ready to go back to Australia, she's going to go back to Italy and meet him again. And he said, okay. But something happened while she's gone in his life. I think I'm not gonna go any further, but I thought it was going one way and it totally went another way. I'm not gonna tell you what happened. But this is the Italian TS1. I gave this one 3.5 stars. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't my favorite. I give it a high 3.5 stars because it was kept me interested. And I think it's going to be a book 2, but I think it's going to be on another couple that was in this book. But I enjoyed it. I highly recommend it. Check it out. It's the Italian by T.L. Swan. Next, I have Gym Junkie by T.L. Swan. I really enjoyed this one. I gave this one a 4 star, but I don't think other people on Amazon, the reviews, some of them didn't like this because he is very alpha. I think I mentioned that she write alpha male characters. This guy right here was over the top alpha male, and I don't think some people like that too much. But alpha male characters don't bother me. Yeah, I'm all for alpha male character and some steaminess. Yeah, this one, and I think I mentioned her books have a lot of steaminess in it. Yeah, this one, yeah, this was kind of over the top steamy too. And this is I'm sorry, my camera went out. The female name is Tully and the guy's name is Brock. Brock owns his own detective agency, or he owns a security agent. One of them detective or security. He do both of them. He owns his own company, and Tully is she works at a crime lab. She do crime scene and investigate. She's like working the lab for the crime scene investigator people. She works in the lab. And they meet. It's called Gym Junkie because he works out a lot at the gym, and she turns up at the gym one day, and he's very attracted to her. He tries everything to get her attention while he's in the gym, and then they hook up at the gym. Yeah, have something going on at the gym. But the problem is that she has a boyfriend that her and her boyfriend are on hiatus because when the book starts, it's with her and her boyfriend. Her boyfriend asks her to marry him, but she feel like she's not ready to get married yet. So they agree to take a hiatus from each other. So yeah, and it's gonna go from there. It was a lot going on in this book. Maybe some people didn't like it for that reason. In this one, she wasn't really cheating on him because they was like on hiatus and they took a break. So I don't know. Maybe some people consider that cheating. I don't know, but I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. So try it out if that kind of scenario don't bother you. And this is Gym Junkie by T.L. Swan. Next up, I told you I fell down the rabbit hole. Like when I read Scarlett Scott. Yeah, I fell down the T.L. Swan rabbit hole. And then this is Our Way, and this one is on Nathan and Eliza. They meet at a hospital. Both of them are new to the hospital. I think he's an intern and she's a nurse. And they end up meeting in the cafeteria line, and they strike up a conversation, and they sit at the table together, and she's kind of attracted to him, but he said, no, I'm attracted to men. So this was a totally different scenario right here. So, and then I guess I forgot to mention in her book, in T.L. Swan book, sometimes they skip you meet the couple and then like a year later or something happened like that. Because I think a year later or 2 years later, or I don't know how many years it was, but now he's a full-fledged doctor. He got his own practice, and I forgot what he do. He discovered something to do with surgery or something, because he's a very well-known doctor now, but she's still like a nurse. She's trying to get another job at a doctor office to work for a cosmetic doctor. I think he do plastic surgery, so she's trying to get her another job. But her and Nathan are real tight. Nathan always at her house. They even sleep in the same bed together, you know, because he said he liked guys. So one day she's going shopping because she's getting ready to go on a vacation, and she go on and trying on some bikinis or something, and he's with her because they tight. They always be together, and he sees her in this bikini, and he started getting feelings for her. So that stopped messing with his head, because you know he's always thought that he only like guys. So that started messing with his head, and then it just take a whole different turn from there. So that's as far as I'm going. You have to check it out yourself. And this is Our Way by T.L. Swan. I gave this a high 3.5 stars too. But I gave it an extra star for this cover. Look at it. So really 4 stars. Look at that cover. Oh my goodness. I really enjoyed this one too. And it's called Our Way by T.L. Swan. Next, I read Play Along by T.L. Swan. This was kind of like a romantic suspense. This was on Mac, and I think the female name is Rosh. Her name is spelled R-O-S-H. And this is when Rosh goes to a nightclub or something, or a bar, and she see her boyfriend and her roommate making out on the dance floor. So yeah, she's upset about that, and she go over and tell them off, and then she ends up, she runs out of the bar, but she goes out the back way, and then she run into something she don't need to run into, and that's when she get kidnapped. Yep. She get kidnapped by Mac and some other guys. And when and they knock her out, and when she wakes up, but first she give them a run for their money, because she knows how to fight. So she ends up waking up in this bed, and she realizes that she's on a boat, or you can say a tanker, because this is some kind of big tanker boat, because it's owned by criminals. And that's how she meets Mac, and that's as far as I'm going on that. This one was okay for me. I gave this a 3.5 star, but this is nothing I want to read again. It was okay. I just couldn't really get into Mac and Rosh too much. I don't know, cause where it started out, he was all hard and stuff. Then next thing you know, I don't know it. This one just didn't do it for me. But if you want to try it out, you want a romantic suspense, you can try Play Alone by T.L. Swan. It was okay. I gave it a 3.5 stars. Next, I have The Stopover by T.L. Swan. This is going to be in the Miles High Club series. I think this is going to be on 4 Brothers. The first one she's only written 2 books so far. The Stopover, and what's the other book called? And The Takeover. Those are the first 2 books in the series. I think she's going to do 2 more, because like I said, it's on 4 Brothers. And The Stopover is on Emily Foster and Jameson Miles. And it's called A Stopover because they're on a flight, and they have a stopover, because Jameson, he's in first class on the plane, and Emily ends up in first class because she's in line to get on the plane, and some guy started going off on her or something. So the airline upgrade her to first class for her problem, for dealing with this guy who was in line acting crazy. So she get upgraded to first class, and she ends up sitting on the seat beside Jameson, and they have good chemistry together. They they hit it off. And while they getting ready to come, I forgot where they get ready to land at, something happens. They can't land, so they have a stopover somewhere else. So they end up, sleeping together. And then he gets up the next morning, and they don't exchange names, they don't exchange numbers, because they know each other. But I think they use fake names. And they end up, he just ends up, he kisses her, and then he leaves, like nothing ever happened. But here's another one. You know what I'm finna say? They end up working at the same place. I was like, really? But that didn't mess it up for me. I still enjoyed the book. Highly recommend it. I bought this one, so I will be doing a book haul after I get through going through all these books that I read for August and September. So I really enjoyed this one. I gave this one a 4.5 stars. And let me show you the other book in the series. This is The Takeover, and this is on Claire and Tristan. And this started off, Claire was married. Her husband passed away, and they had three. So she has three sons, and her and her husband own a business together. So it starts off with Tristan trying to buy her business. I think they're in the media business. I forgot what him and his brothers do, but they have like companies all over the world, everywhere. And I think they own a media company, and I think Claire's husband was on something like a media company too, and they wanted to buy her company, but she said no. Her and Tristan didn't hit it off too well, but then she goes on a retreat or something, a conference. She has to go to a conference, but it's overseas, and is it in Italy, I think? And turns out, who's going to be the speaker there is Tristan. So her and Tristan meet again, and this time it's still kind of iffy, him and her. Cause look, he likes her, because I think he asked her out when he had met her the first time. I think he called her office and asked her out, but she was like, I don't think so. And so when they meet again, he still is very attracted to her, but this is an older woman, younger guy, because he's younger than she is. And she's still trying to like no, but I think he's rubbing off on her, because as it goes on, she's starting to have feelings for him and stuff like that. And so yeah, Tristan is ticking all the boxes. So yeah, they end up having a fling. And in this one, I cracked up in this one. It's gonna be something funny with her son and Tristan. Because her oldest son is very protective of her. Yeah, it was so funny. I enjoyed this one. I gave this a 4.5 stars too. This was a good one too. So I'd have bought this one too. So I bought the Takeover and the Stopover. I got both of them. So I can't wait for the other two books to come out. So highly recommend the Mile High series. Check it out if you haven't. If you don't mind like over the top males or alpha males. But Tristan wasn't too alpha male. Tristan was pretty cool. He was pretty cool, because he did everything he could to he was out to get Claire. So let's put it like that. He did everything he could to change her mind and to get her, even though she did have three sons. He didn't even care. Look, he was like, I want you and I'm gonna get you. Next, I have Trouble in Disguise by Jim Savid. I had forgot all about Jim Savid until I did the historical authors, and I did Jim Savid, and I was like, I didn't even finish the series. So I went back and I found this. This is book number 6 in the Eclipse Heat series, because I think I read books 1 through 3, and I just totally forgot about it. So I went back and I read this one. I'm going to purchase this one. I gave this 4 stars, and this is on Deacon McAllister and Miracle Beauregard. And Miracle goes by Beauregard because she's in disguise as a bounty hunter, and females didn't do bounty hunting, so she's in disguise as a young man, a bounty hunter, and she's a pretty good bounty hunter too. And Deacon is also a bounty hunter, so they know each other. They've been bumping heads for a while, but he don't realize that he is a female. But Miracle, she got feeling for Deacon, but she can never show him, because she's trying to keep her disguised as a guy, because she don't want, she likes bounty hunting and she want to keep bounty hunting. So her and Deacon are after the same guy. Some counterfeiters. Some people been counterfeiting money, so her and Deacon are after these same people. So both of them after this bounty, trying to get this money. So both of them end up at this brothel. She's in disguise as a butler, and she see Deacon come to this brothel, and Deacon is speaking to the madam there, and the madam, she act like she don't have any information for him, so he getting ready to leave, but the madam said, oh, you can stay here tonight. I'll send a girl up to your room or whatever. And he thinks about it for a minute, then he be like, okay, no problem. So when Miracle hears that, she intercepts the female that's supposed to be sent to his room, and she takes his place. So that's how they end up hooking up. But Deacon don't know it's really Beauregard that he hooking up with. So it's gonna go from there with him finding out who really Beauregard is. So I really enjoyed it. I hope I explained that good because I was going back and forth there. Yeah, I'm not good at, I'm not good at it. Trying to wrap up a book and tell you tell you my thoughts on it. But I highly recommend this. If you don't mind, Jim Savie, she writes steamy books. Sometimes they're over the top steamy. I don't think this one was too over the top, but it does have some sexual situations going on in here. And I really enjoyed the book. I gave it 4 stars, and I will be purchasing this one. Next up I have is, these are the last 3 here I have on my Kindle here. And I read the Puck series. I heard people talking about the Puck series, so I was like, let me give it a try. So I read book 1, and book 1 is on Violet Hall and Alex Waters. I really enjoyed this. I gave it a high 3.5 stars. Alex and Violet meet when her stepbrother is a hockey player, and her mom want her to go to her stepbrother play at this tournament, so that she ends up going with them, and that's how she meets Alex. And her brother, he be all up in the mix trying to, look, I don't want you going with my sister. When her and Alex get to talking or whatever, and her brother Miller, he's all up in the mix trying to put a stop to it. But her and Alex end up hooking up together while they're at this, when the game is over, they end up hooking up. And she thinks it's just a one night stand or whatever. But when she ends up going back home, because the team is in the same town that she lives in, I think, because they went to an out of way game. And so Alex is trying to get in touch with her because he really likes her and he want to keep this thing going. But that's what the contention gonna be, because she don't want to get involved with no hockey player, because her brother is not a good example, because he be sleeping with everybody and she think all the other hockey players are the same. She don't want to even get involved, but Alex wear her down. So I really enjoyed it. I give it 3.5 stars. And the next book is going to be on her brother Miller and Sonny. I didn't enjoy this one too much. It was okay. This is called Pucked Up, because this is between Miller and, look, Sonny. Sonny is Alex's sister, so now it's the reverse, because Alex don't want Miller messing with his sister, so we got the whole reversal going on here. But what was the problem with this one is that Sonny knew what she was getting into, because in the first book, Sonny and Miller meet. That's how they meet. And so in this one, it's just a continuation of because they've already met and they've already been talking to each other, whatever. I don't think they ever hooked up or not. They haven't hooked up yet in this before then, because they're going to hook up in this book. But they know each other and they've decided that they want to go together. And I just hate it because Sonny was wishy-washy. One minute she was okay, and then that thing she was jealous. I just could not take it. I was like, you already know what you was getting into, and he's doing better. He's not cheating on you or whatever. But she just, yeah, I just could not take it. So I gave this one a 3. And when I read this one, it just brought me down so much. I went through the other books and I just read the synopsis. If the synopsis didn't catch me, I just skipped all bad until I got to this book. And I read the synopsis of this one, and I was like, I'll read this one. So this was book 1, Pucked. This was book 2, and I end up skipping all the other books until I got to, what book is this? Book 6. So I skipped all the way to book 6, people. And this one is on, his name is Lance Romero, and the female in this is Poppy. But when this start off, Lance is going to a hotel to meet, I think he was involved with somebody else, so he goes to the hotel to meet her. And him and her have a contentious relationship. Yeah, it's not good. You know how some people you get with, you love them, but you just can't be with them because both of y'all not good for each other. So that's how it is in here. And he knows it, but he's having a hard time staying away from her. But that's how this started out. And he meets Poppy. He gets hurt. I think he hurt his back or something. And his coach want him to go to get a massage. He needs to get a massage or whatever. But he don't like to be touched really. But he tell him that, yeah, you need to get this done. Because your accident or whatever is affecting your play, so you need to go get something done. So that's how he meet Pop, because she a massage therapist, and she gives a massage and she really relaxes him, and then he kind of start liking her, and he wants to ask her out, but she was like, I can't, you're a customer, so we can't even get involved. So he ends up, he don't want to, but he ends up finding somebody else to do his therapy, and then he asks her out, and it goes from there. I really enjoyed this one. I gave this a 4-star. I'm gonna buy this one, but I don't think I'll be continuing with the Puck series. This is my last book in the Puck series, and I really enjoyed this. And this cover, look at this cover. Oh my goodness, I gotta get it. I gotta buy this book. I gave this a 4-star. Really enjoyed that. So that's all I have for now. Until next time, keep reading those romances, and I'll see you all on the next go round. Bye bye.